Okay, so today's agenda, we're going to kanpai and take a group photo first. Then we'll go into June 2021 Sake Box presentation, then the Q&A session. So be ready to join the question, all right? Okay, so, oh, oopsie, so stop sharing. So, okay, looks like, oh, many more people joined. Thank you so much. So, okay, so.
Do you have a glass in hand? Hopefully.
Yeah, so we're gonna do kanpai, but before that, let me introduce you guys, our special guest today. We have Eiko-san from Kodama Brewing Company.
That's the Nigori.
Hello.
Yes. Hi, Kodama-san.
Hi.
Yes. And then Sakeman Red representing Kuraushi. Yay! Thank you, Sakeman. And we're supposed to have Nate-san, who is a brewer of Kuraushi. But whenever he joined, we'll have fun with him again.
Sorry for the hold up.
No problem at all. So yeah, let's do kanpai then.
We are going to talk about the Senkin too. Usui-san may not be joining us since it was rescheduled, but he may be. We'll see.
But yeah, do you guys have a cup of sake ready?
I do.
Great. Okay, so let's do kanpai. 3, 2, 1. Kanpai.
Bye.
Oh, the smile. Thank you. Okay. All right. Enjoy your sake. Okay, Sachiko-san, are you ready to start the presentation?
Sure.
All right. Let me go back to the presentation real quick. Okay. So during the presentation, if you can mute yourself, that would be really helpful. And during the Q&A session, please feel free to talk, like unmute yourself. All right. Thank you.
Yes.
Okay, Sachiko-san, take it away.
Well. Okay. Ooh, can you go back to the first slide? I just want to talk about yes. So hopefully you enjoyed the 6 bottles. I see a lot of people that joined last week for the first 3, but I was really happy to get this together because they're all really iconic. Each and every one represent the region so well. And we did the first 3 on the left last week. I think we have a recording. So if you have any questions, just let us know. It was really cool because the one in the, so the second from the left, Dewazakura Oka, president joined, and he's kind of like a leader figure within like the breweries. And so he started, he wasn't like lecturing, it's just whenever he speaks, it's like everybody just listens. But towards the end, he was just talking about the other 2 breweries, and it was like, oh yes, absolutely, like everything you say is amazing. So it was just really cool to see that happening. And then sorry, it's not just the left 3, it's all mixed today. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed it because we worked hard to get that. It's super fresh. It's practically directly from Japan.
Then I did go and look at some PC things.
Katta-san. I just muted Katta-san. That was okay. But anyway, yes, we can go on and talk about our special guest and our special Nigori that we're super happy to introduce. So this is a product new to the US. Super excited if you saw that this is from March in 21. Not always you're gonna find the date on it, but this is super fresh. When it arrived to Tipsy, we were like, this is it. And we tried it. We are gonna feature the 720 size too. It's just awaiting shipment. So this should go on sale in August or so. And if you look at your product cards, there's a QR code, and then there's going to be many more products that are registered on that. You might see Tenko series that kind of looks like Louis Vuitton like graphics. I always call it like Louis Vuitton graphics, but they're in the, if you can see in the red part in the slide, it's like northwest Japan. It's pretty mountainous. It's next to Taiheisan, which is the mountain. And it's kind of a spiritual, in a way, mysterious mountain. That I learned that from Maki, who works at Tipsy, and from conversing with Eiko-san at Kodama Jozo. And they've also created this innovative Kimoto method, which is an orthodox brewing method, but they managed to make it kind of modern and very, very nuanced. So that's an invention that many brewers in Japan really admire. They've also released their first, the first like chilled sake before chilled sake was a thing. And so they've always been a leader. They're also a maker of soy sauce and miso soup still to this day, which is pretty rare. So soy sauce and miso has the same base, koji, which is this moldy rice that is kind of the root of the culinary and beverage world in Japan. So that's Kodama Jozo. And we have Eiko Kodama from the brewery there. And she's really good at English because she grew up in the US since she was 12, and she met her husband when she was in college, and then went to Akita out in the boonies. And she's always posting beautiful nature photos on Facebook, and she's part of Tipsy Sake Club on Facebook. So Eiko-san, thank you so much for joining us.
Well, thank you for inviting us. We're very happy to make a debut at Tipsy because it's such a famous company, you know, and I think the attractive thing is that a lot of people all over the US can enjoy the sake.
Yes, I think that's amazing too. Let us know where you're from in the chat, because we're always curious. I'm always so impressed when you're from Texas or Illinois, places that are really hard to get sake, because you need a lot more patience than some of us that live in California to get your hands on it.
Right.
So I have a few questions personally for Eiko-san, if you don't mind me asking. I'm just curious because you have such a tie to the US. Like you grew up in the US, and you also, you know, met your husband in was it North Carolina?
Yes,
Yes.
Sounds like you know the whole story, my life story. But yes,
yeah, is there anything that you
I
missed?
was still under the drinking age then, just starting college, but this was in North Carolina. And the interesting thing is that North Carolina was a dry state at that time. So I think I'm a little surprised myself that I am married into a sake brewing family, and I'm selling sake right now, promoting sake right now. But I understand North Carolina is no longer a dry state, and there are people who are enjoying sake there as well. And after graduating from college, I lived and worked in New York for a long time, where I enjoyed dining, and I kind of miss their Chinese deliveries actually.
Did they have a lot of izakaya back then in New York when you lived there?
Oh yes.
Yeah.
But I'm sure not as many as before, because it was still in the 1980s. But they were very good Japanese restaurants.
Oh,
Yeah.
and then you got a lot of practice to drink after you marry your husband, I guess.
Yes. I was more of a wine drinker before, but Akita is also one of the most sake consuming prefectures in Japan, if not the most. The most is Niigata, but the per capita consumption of sake is probably Akita.
Oh, great. Yeah. Well, I'm going to open this nigori as you speak, because I want to. Anybody who wants to join.
It is like someone said, it's supposed to be crispy and dry nigori.
Yeah, Ton-san was saying how it's the driest nigori that he's tried.
Oh.
And that's what I love about it, because I think it makes it really food friendly. And a lot of times people that are kind of, there's people that love nigori and there's people that don't. And the people that don't love nigori particularly don't like the sweetness of it. So I think this makes it for a really interesting texture that you can't get anywhere else. Kanpai. And
Bye.
Actually, this is coffee time for me, but please enjoy the nigori.
thank you. I have another question for you. Because we're registering so many other products from Kodama Jozo, like includes the kimoto using that innovative kimoto method that, you know, the brewery invented. Which one would you pick as the next one after this nigori to try?
It's a good question, but a difficult question.
I'm
I
sure,
have
'cause
a
you're like
photo.
everything.
I have the photo here, a lineup of all of our products that will be promoted by Tipsy. And this one is this is Tenko, and this is our flagship product that has won many awards in U.S. national sake appraisals as well as IWC. And this is a blend of Akita Kimoto and Sokujo. And this product's been around for over 30 years. It was my husband's design of production. And this is my recommendation for your next opportunity.
That's awesome. What's the polish ratio of that one? Because I know everything has a number.
This is 40, and it's Jimai Daiginjo. And
so there's going to be a lot of products that says Tenko Heavenly Grace, and it comes with a number. And it's, you know, if it says 35, then it's 35 polish ratio. If it says 40, it's 40 polish ratio, things like that. 20, yeah, that's the 35.
Yeah,
and that's what I call the Louis
35.
Vuitton.
Yeah. Okay.
Nice. Okay,
And,
she's gonna say try everything. Try the 40 first.
And this is the 20. 80% is being polished.
Polished off.
Yeah, this common theme for Tenko is that they're all made of Yamada Nishiki rice, and the polishing ratios are different. And of course, the yeast it varies. But basically, Kimoto made by Akita Kimoto method.
And I think Akita people are not only drinkers, but also eaters. So food friendly for sure. Everything is going to be incredibly food friendly.
Yeah, exactly. Actually, it suits with a variety of food, seafood, barbecue, meat, and vegetables as well.
Thank you.
Thank
Cheers
you.
to that. Thank you for this beautiful nigori. We're super excited, but we're also super excited to feature all the different products. And knowing that you're so fluent in English, you know, we hope to continue to get information from you and do some fun opportunities in the future.
No, it's a big pleasure for me, and I actually miss the US very much. So I'm very happy to be joining.
Yay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Arigatou gozaimasu.
Please enjoy.
Yes, we might have some questions for you in the future if you have time to keep on joining. Thank you. All right, so I don't think we have Usui president from Senkin. We almost did, but if you've seen the Tochigi project, you may have seen what the brewery is like there, because we had a crew visit them in March when we did a Tochigi prefecture project. So Senkin, this is from the classic series. There's a classic series and a modern series, and they focus on this concept of domain. So expressing the land. And when it comes to sake, that's about the water and the rice. And then they go to very orthodox brewing methods using the kioke in the background that you can see, and the kimoto making you can see in the middle, which is not what this is made from, but it's a new flavor profile. They call it amazuppai. It's sweet and tart, and it's almost like a German Riesling. But that's because the president goes after the flavors that he wants. You know, he really wanted sake to be more than just a national beverage. Like he really looked to get it recognized in the world. And so the president, who's like a foodie and is a sommelier, goes after the flavor, and the younger brother you can see in this photo is the brewer. He's like the engineer that figures out how to achieve that flavor profile from rice, which is easy to be said, but difficult to achieve. Sakura City is where they're located, and everything is, they only make sake from rice that's made within like 5 kilometers of the brewery, because that's really important to them. And Kinagawa River is kind of a famous river in Japan because there's lots of hot springs that you can go to in Kinagawa River, and there's volcanic ashes that the water gets filtered through, and that's the water that feeds the paddy fields growing the rice, and also used for brewing. So if you like this, I really love it. It has like an apricot kind of tartness to it that I can't get anywhere else in sake, and so it's really fun for me. And if you like it, you might want to try the different rice versions of it. So there's Senkin classic kame no o, muku is the Yamada Nishiki, and then omachi, I think. And so there's 3 different kinds from the classic series and 3 different kinds from the modern series. So if you have any questions, as always, you can shoot us an email or shout out on Tipsy Sake Club. Mimi and I are always on there and answering questions. So let us know if you have any questions on that. Or put it in the chat now so I can answer at the end.
Do you want to go to the next slide, or are you gonna actually try it with everyone?
Oh, drink it? Like, I have it poured if you wanted to.
Yeah, you've been drinking
Kanpai.
it. That's right.
Yeah. Well, you can kanpai with it if you haven't opened it. Some of the people, like, sometimes when you open it, it makes that like sound because it's only been pasteurized once and it's very fresh. So yes, I recommend it in a wine glass, especially a Bordeaux wine glass like this, which is big, because it really enhances the aromatics. So it's kind of nice that way, and that's what the brewer recommends, because he's really like high society frou-frou, like, you know, have it with French cuisine kind of person. But they really work hard to balance out the juiciness of not only the flavor, but the delicate aroma. So the big wine glass like really enhances that. So yes, and also have it slightly chilled. They do say warm it up too. If you're gonna warm it up, maybe have it in a ceramic so it keeps the heat a little bit more. And you don't want to put like hot liquids in a precious wine glass like this. So yay, cheers.
All right.
Cheers to that.
Awesome.
Double fisting now. I'll be triple fisting soon. This is still my taiheza.
Thank you, Sachiko-san.
It is hard not to drink at all. Kuroshi. Yay! So I brought 2 kuroshi. You haven't realized there's a kuroshi junmai, which is what you have in your sake box. And then there's one made with a different rice, heirloom rice, called omachi rice. And definitely try both if you like this kind. They're dedicated to junmai making, and they've really focused on, and Sakeman Red, I'm mixing Japanese intonations. Nicolas-san, Sakeman Red can supplement me because he's the importer. He represents the importer working with them. He's probably been there and knows a lot about the brewery firsthand, but they focus on junmai making. The black cow. Oh, yeah. Dozo.
Oh, so yeah, they do focus on junmais, and I did. So right before COVID, our last trip to Japan, I got to finally visit Natte Shuzo, and I was really excited, mostly because Wakayama, that's like my dad's side of the family, so it's nice to know that I'm from a sake region. And I always like to know, what was the goal? Why did you want to make this sake? Why did you? What was the main goal? And his goal was that, typically junmai ginjos or daiginjos were only enjoyed during special occasions. So maybe just New Year's or just wedding ceremonies, but it was only like special occasion. But he wanted to hit the reason why he made this junmai ginjo taste the way it does was he wanted a Tuesday night drinking. He wanted people to enjoy junmai ginjo, no matter what. You don't have to wait for a birth of a child or a 50-year anniversary to enjoy sake, but he wanted that grade of sake, that that profile, but something that can be enjoyed just with your dinner or anytime during the week. And then also with the junmai, his goal for the straight junmai with the white label, he knows that there's so many different junmais out there. You can have 20 different junmais and they all taste really different. They have their personalities, they have layers, they have all these things going on. But he wanted to try to make like a textbook junmai taste, because sometimes people drink, let's say something like a shichira or something, and it's like so umami filled, or you have something like suijin where it's like super dry. He wanted to give at least a baseline of this is like a typical, like classic junmai taste. So that was his goal for that. He uses two different rice types. He uses Yamada Nishiki and Gohaku Mongoku. Both are polished actually to ginjo grade. But again, it's not to make a ginjo sake. It's meant to just kind of, what do you call it? Extract the most junmai taste that he could for that sake.
So for it being junmai is the utmost importance, and then it just happens to be ginjo because
right.
Exactly. Of what it is. Yeah. And for me, it really has become like a staple junmai for me. And when we say junmai, to me, it's all about mouthfeel. Mm-hmm. It's like having whole milk versus like skim milk. Mm-hmm. So some sake benefit from that clean finish, being really thin on your palate. But mm-hmm. This has like an expansion on your palate. It's very subtle, but it's very, very kind, and it's right. Only achieved in small batches, and when you pay like close attention to the rice, and mm-hmm. reading about how they used to be like multiple businesses, and then after the war they've really like honed down just to focus on sake business, which right. They were good at, and to really dedicate their craft to locally. I thought was really cool. And then for now to kind of offer that overseas, because I don't know how famous I don't know if like kuroshi is like drank all over Japan, but right. It's definitely like drank in the US. Well, thanks partly to Sake Man working hard to spread the love of sake, the healthy drinking circle.
And then so also a few years, I can't remember exactly when, but when they used to make, fairly good sake with their old toji, but never won any awards until they hired a younger guy who's now taking over with the sake brewing. After he joined and his passion, that's when they actually started winning more medals and started winning more awards for their sake. Okai-san. So he's, young, he's, maybe in his 40s or so, really kind of a quiet guy, but still just enjoys making sake. So I think after he came on, we could definitely taste something different was happening in the sake. And, there's always little things that breweries can do or change, and they can't really pinpoint, what he does differently, but I think maybe it's just the energy, perhaps. But yeah, so kind of a side note, while I got to work there, but I also got to be a kurobito, and cool. Yeah, I got to go to like actually all the steps. So I got to fill the bags as they have their rice milling machine on site. So I got to fill those bags. I got to, take all these stacks of sake rice bags and prepare for the next batch. It's going to be washed the next day. I got to be part of the washing, the steaming. Something that's different. I'm not sure if I'm letting the cat out of the bag, but for the Junmai sake, typically, everyone goes into the koji muro, the koji room, and then they sprinkle the koji spores in that room. With the Junmai, they actually do it as it's coming out of the steamer. So as it's being dumped from the steamer machine and into the conveyor belt, essentially, that's when they're just sprinkling all the koji on top of that. And then as it's landing on these sheets, and then it's taken up to the koji muro that way. So I don't know how well everyone will be able to see this, but I do have a video of me running this sake.
What? You're showing off. Oh,
hold on, let me see.
Share the screen. Do you have a link that you could share in the chat, maybe?
No, this is just
this is private.
Yeah, just on my phone.
Oh, oh, you see, yeah, everything is done by hand. Is the crazy thing. And yes, people run from like one place to the other because they want to make the temperature of the rice is really important when you work with it.
Exactly.
So those are probably like so 10 kilo or something.
What's that? Sorry.
10 kilo batch or something, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So they have like a bunch of bags already stacked and ready to go. And then the rice is with the koji spores already on top of it. They load it up, then they wrap it up, give it to you, and yeah, it's super nerve-wracking because all I could think in my head was don't trip, going up those stairs and like spilling all of this steamed rice on the ground. Yeah, so I got to do that. And then during my time there, they're doing the competition daiginjo filtration.
That's February, you guys. So if you ever want to like be a super sake geek and visit Japan, when they're pressing the competition sake, that's like the cold months in February. Go visit them if you can, or take a class, or do a tour.
Yeah, during like one of the most stressful times. And so during the filtration, they're getting they have the bags already set, like the whole team's there kind of getting ready, and then Nate Shacho pulls me aside and puts me in my place. He's like, stand
that's
here.
That's the president, you guys.
Oh yeah, sorry, that's the president.
Nate Shacho is president.
Yes, Mr. Nate. He basically puts me in a spot and he's like, you stand here, please don't move, just watch. Don't, because everything is so meticulous. They're so careful with everything. And then, so they have those, for those of you that know, like those hand-filled bags, those like linen bags, they have the moromi dump in, they pour into for the pressing. I had to go through the process of washing those after they were done. And so you have to hand wash them, and then you put them in the wash machine, and then you hand wash them again, then into the machine, and then hand wash. And you do it about 10 to 15 times, inside and out, rinse, throw them in the machine, wait for it to come out. So it's really, so those bags, once they come out and they're ready to press, I see why competition daiginjos are so expensive if they're even available, because every little detail is, taken into account. And I'm very fortunate I got to be there for that, because I've never seen that type of pressing and
meticulous. And they say it's like 90% cleaning because you're dealing with microorganisms.
100%.
And they're probably the reason they do that 10 times is because they're not using any detergent. They're not using any chemicals. Everything, the water that seeps back into the ground is very clean. And that's how it's been. And that's how, there may have been a point post-war where they deviated from it, but really most breweries are going back to very, very natural and sustainable and safe and clean products. This is just pasteurized to make it shelf stable so it doesn't go bad. And that just means that it's heated up to kill the enzymes. That's it. So it's a very, very clean beverage that's safe for your celiac friends or gluten-free friends. And you have a great core and you're trained by judo, so you're able to do these. You're able to jump in. If I were to do it, I have to like train and like trained physically to even like join in for like half an hour, I bet. So
It is.
kudos to you for experiencing it firsthand.
It's also like a mental thing though too, because everything you have to think about what's going on. It's I don't know. Yeah, it's a whole, your whole body's engaged and your mind's worried about, okay, don't mess up. Because these guys that are doing it have been doing it for, many, many years. And then I give them a lot of credit because you're right. I mean, if you're not making sake, you're cleaning. Then if you have that small break, you're just resting until your next, checking the koji room or checking the soap, getting ready to wash the next batch or whatever. So I'm so surprised that handmade craft sake has still been able to make it through all the generations, because it's super labor intensive. It's so much work. Yeah. And, I'm grateful because every time I get to go do that for a couple days, I feel like I need to sleep for 2 weeks because it's pretty intense. Like even for after the cooling machine, after the sake rice is dumped in the conveyor belt, everything is, I had to wash that thing with the big brush, then with the hose, and then with the toothbrush. And I was warned by Sake Man Green's like, oh, when you go there, you're gonna have to, he'll give you a toothbrush to clean the steamer. And I kind of laughed about it, but yeah, as soon as we were ready to, I got the toothbrush and I had to just scrub every little inch of that machine. So yeah, I'm very, very grateful that they are willing to make this delicious sake still.
Cheers to that. お疲れ様です. Thank you for
お疲れ様
your
です
fruits of labor. It's very delicious.
Thank you so much. Maybe it's been really interesting stories. So maybe some of us are having questions.
Yeah.
Maybe, yeah.
Let's ask the questions. And
Yeah,
while Eiko-san is here too.
Yeah. So now we're gonna open up for Q&A. So you can feel free to leave your questions in the chat, or you can raise your hand using the reaction panel. Yes, feel free to ask any questions. And again, by participating just for reading questions, you will be entering into this giveaway over this little talk. So
Team chill.
awesome. Okay. All right. Oh, Beatrice asked, what's the reason with different color glass bottle?
Oh, well, maybe Eiko-san can answer.
Yeah, I can. That's actually a good question. I think sake bottles always used to come in brown bottles. It blocks sunlight, which is not good, for sake. And then, but then of course the design is also important, and more technology improved, we are able to offer in different colors, but still brown and green is set to protect sake from sun. And I believe that's why a lot of the sakes come in brown and green. But if you drink it fast, then I think any colored bottles will do.
Yes. Yay, thank you. So sake is sensitive to heat, temperature, and sun. So keep it away from the sun. When it arrives from Tipsy, it's in a cardboard box, so you don't have to worry about it. If it's in the heat, it's kind of inevitable in the summer. If it's in the heat for a day, we really don't think it should affect any of the flavor. Just put it in the fridge after, or keep it in a cool place like a garage. And you should be able to enjoy it like it should still be delicious. Some of the sake is like so carefully made and it's indestructible. But do contact us if you have any leaks. Don't drink it if you have any leaks, or if you detect any spoilage or any off flavors. We're all ears. I'm happy to taste with you. Charles has a little puppy, or I don't know how young the puppy is. I don't know if,
Okay.
But anyway, and
yeah.
Kat too, thanks for having a group. That's really fun to make it an event, and we're always here to drink with you. So
and we have a few more questions coming up. So actually, Ben, you have a quite long question. Do you want to actually go ahead and unmute yourself and ask?
Yeah, the question that sort of applies to both the Nigori and the Senkin, as far as like when you're trying to narrow down a specific flavor, is that like from its inception that you're trying to, I want something that's sour, or I want a Nigori that's dry? And if so, like how do you like go about like narrowing that down in the brewing process?
Like how you conceptualize the end product?
Yeah, like from the beginning, like what do I need to do to
Yeah.
get it to, I want a dry Nigori, or I want whatever.
I have a general answer for Senkin, because I know they specifically they're really known for high acidity and also sweetness. Sweetness comes from the natural conversion of the starch into sugar in the very beginning process, which is the koji process. So they employed a new concept to making koji, and then balance it out with a very high acidity, and that's how they achieved that. And the nigori from Kodama Jozo, they've modeled it after kind of like nostalgic. This is, Eiko-san can correct me, but a nostalgic feel for doburoku, which is an ancient brew without filtering. So it's a little chunky.
Okay.
But they've stayed true to the Akita style, which is dry, because their whole purpose is to, they don't enter this one into competitions. They're really there to please their locals and respond to what the locals want. And that's how they ended up with a dry nigori that's also beautiful. I think the bottle design is really beautiful. And Eiko-san, you can add to that, to how it was conceptualized.
Yeah, thank you. No, you are right, Sachiko-san, that it is taken after a doburoku, which used to be made at home. It's considered illegal. I believe it is
like
legalized.
In Japan, it's illegal, but it's not illegal to make in the US.
It has become legal, but in the old days, especially in Akita, like the big rice producing area, many people have had rice at home. And so they used to make doburoku, nigori, sake at home, which was common. Our nigori is, it's not junmai, there's alcohol added to it, which makes it drier.
Okay.
It's a honjozo sake. And also, we always have a concept of an end product. We always have that picture in our mind. And then we try to, when we brew, we try to aim toward it. And now with the advancement of technology, there's a computerized monitoring system to trace the temperature and the acidity level and these various things which make the taste.
Okay. Thank you.
Ask more questions, you guys, because you want that tote bag, don't you? Which will be on sale along with like our shuki, the vessels. We're gonna start selling that soon. So I think that's kind of fun.
Yes, and actually I see another question posted. It's from Pam. Does the difficulty in making the sake make it difficult to get consistent batches? It's a really nice question.
I think so. Every year the rice harvest is different. Every year I hear about the brewer kind of struggling or, working with new rice every year is different. And sake is not like wine. It's more like champagne, where you're aiming for that consistent product every year from a varying product. So I believe it is a challenge. But that's kind of the fun of it too, when you get to seasonal products like spring unpasteurized sake, or once pasteurized fall sake. It becomes really, I love it. Ohayou gozaimasu. Nate-san from Kuroushi is here, you guys. Just so you know. But hi.
Which glass do you like? for long and short.
Oh, he has a question. Do you want like a round one or a straight vessel for kuroshi? Do you have any
Yes.
preferences? He has a question for us. Tobiri desu. I don't see him anymore, actually.
Oh, I spotlight him. Do you see
Oh,
him?
all right. Okay, good.
I have to keep the proper distance from the video.
Yeah, we need proper distancing because it's COVID, you guys. But actually, Japan is really having a hard time with state of emergency announced many times without being able to drink. So please do raise a glass to Kuroshi.
黒石さん、乾杯です。
乾杯です。ありがとうございます。朝ですよね、今。
はい。
はい。
はい、10時前です。
10時前. It's before 10 a.m. in Japan, and he's joining us. いただきます。
皆さん、ラウンドの方が、丸い方が好きっておっしゃってますよ。
Okay. Okay.
丸い方が好きだそうです。
Okay. I use it.
I'll pour
Yay.
some more in my round one too. Sorry, I
Round one
have
has
like,
a little cow, you know, the kuroushi mark on it. It's really cute.
it is. So
Although
does
it's
everybody
kind of
know,
hidden.
everybody know why it's called Kuroshi the Black Cow? It's about a rock that's in the, okay. People, I can't ever tell if people like watch the video or read the cards or anything, but I feel like thanks Stephanie
Aw.
for showing that. Our creative team works really hard to choose beautiful images and to be true to like what's written, and I'm twisting my head. Twisting my head, what does that mean? For the September sake box, which I can give you a sneak peek of.
Yes.
These products. Have you seen this one? I bet not, because I looked all over to choose
Yeah,
something that you maybe you haven't tried. これ、9月のです。
Hello, Nick.
なってしましょう。
Yeah. ご無沙汰です。
はい。お久しぶりです。
Sachiko's trying to show. Oh, the
Anyway.
sneak peek. Yeah.
Sneak peek.
Yes, thank you. So actually, it's already past the 5:45. If you know, okay. So maybe we can close with kanpai. Is that okay?
Hi.
Okay, everyone, thank you so much again for joining. And there are a few questions that haven't been answered. We'll definitely, take that and hope to answer it. So-
I can stay on too. I can't keep up with the chat, but if you unmute yourself.
Yes, it's so
I'll be
lively
happy to
today. So
answer.
yeah, let's do kanpai and take another picture with Nate-san. Yes, you Kat, you can definitely keep drinking. Yay, kanpai!
Kanpai.
Kanpai.
乾杯。
Thank you all.